Renee asked another question. Renee in Albuquerque: Do we not reap as we sow? In today's dispensation, if we're rightly dividing, do we not reap as we sow? Now. Galatians chapter 6, I believe it is, perhaps verse 6, says, God is not mocked. Whatsoever a man sows, that will he reap. So, doing that, we can say, this is written in the time of the age of grace. It's applicable to those living in the age of grace. And so, yes, we reap what we sow. But I might just add to that this is somewhat one of those carryover principles for dispensationalism, because reaping and sowing is fundamentally built into the very creation of the world. You're not going to pick any tomatoes if you don't plant some tomato seeds, right? That's built into creation itself. It was not undone. You can go all the way back to the beginning of creation, and every seed would produce after its kind. That was given from the beginning, and we see that all the way through. Now, the question, however, relates then, do we not reap as we sow? The question then has to be separated, I think, to, is God going to judge us immediately for what we do? And I think the question there goes back to, I will say, no, God is not judging right now until after a person dies. So let's take nations, for instance. I've heard many times people say something like, if God doesn't judge America, he's going to have to give an apology to Sodom and Gomorrah. And of course, what they're saying is America is as bad today as Sodom and Gomorrah was then. Is it? I don't know. It's pretty bad. I don't know exactly what Sodom and Gomorrah was like other than the one piece of evidence that's given. And it seems like America is certainly going in that direction. But I would question the assumption on that particular phrase that preachers like to say, because it sounds good and it preaches good, but I would question the assumptions to say, well, wait a minute, is God judging nations today like he was in the days of Sodom and Gomorrah? He had, of course, Lot and the chosen family of Abraham all involved in there, and it was part of the story that he was bringing about. I'm not so sure that America is part of the story, the storyline of redemption that the family of Abraham was there. So I don't think you have an equation there. So, do we reap what we sow? I think that's fundamentally built into creation. And you can put it another way. Remember the little saying, to have a friend, be a friend. If you show yourself friendly, you're going to have friends. If you're mean to other people are going to be mean to you. And we can see this just over and over. You've had the experience. I've had the experience as well, where someone was just exceptionally kind to me, and I just wanted to be kind back. Someone else was just, immediately off the bat rude to me, and something within me just, spilled it right back at them. Maybe shouldn't have, but nonetheless it did. And I think that in that sense, we do reap what we sow. As Renee mentions, the prisons are filled with people who are reaping what they sow. That's part of our fundamental judicial system. We are reaping what we're sowing. But that's a result of either the consequences of just the way the world is put, the way that we are created and how we respond to other people, the way our judicial system is built. There is reaping and sowing that comes. But flip that aside, and we also know that some people are getting away with it, right? There are murderers out there who go loose. There are, people, not me, of course, but people who go above the speed limit and don't get caught. There are people who are cruel to others and trample others down, and yet they make it to the top and they get rich. So we live in a world in which there's not this perfect system of reaping what is sowed and carrying that out. So I think, do we reap what we sow? Well, certainly we do, but I want to separate that from the judgment of God. And that leads us into another question that actually came in ahead of time. And I know I'm going a little over time today, but the good thing about the internet is they don't cut me off. So as long as you're here with me, I'll keep going here for a few minutes.